Hello, dear friends. Welcome to this program, Our Moments with God, where I try to share with you my daily simple and humble reflections on the mass readings of the day, with the hope that this will help you and me in our spiritual search for God and our spiritual journey, and to be able to establish a friendship with God. And if you are interested to subscribe to this channel, you may please go till the end of the video, and when my picture appears on the right hand side at the bottom, please click on that and you will find an option to subscribe. Thank you. You know, one of the things I mentioned yesterday and day before yesterday is the theme that will be recurring again and again is about the sufferings and pain, and there is no resurrection and joy of the resurrection without crucifixion. There's another theme which will be recurring again and again in my talks, and which is one of the most important things for our spiritual life is the theme of prayer. And I'm taking this because today the letter of St. Peter begins like this: Beloved, the end of all things is at hand. Therefore, be serious and sober minded so that you will be able to pray. So, be serious and sober minded that you will be able to pray. I think it is quite a common experience that sometimes people come and say, we do not know how to pray. But don't worry. Do you know this was also the case with the disciples of Jesus? And therefore, sometimes I wonder whether before Jesus came onto the scene and his disciples had to ask him to teach them to pray, does it mean that they did not know how to pray, or among that generation people were not praying? How is it? Or were they praying but they had another kind of prayer? And suddenly, with the coming of Jesus and his appearance and his way of going around, made them aware of something that they were lacking. For instance, you will find in the Gospels every now and then that after the whole day's work, Jesus went quietly to a lonely place to pray. Or he would get up early in the morning to go to a lonely place to pray. So they saw him praying every now and then, but they did not know what he was praying or how he was praying. And therefore, the disciples, imagine his own disciples who were supposed to be with him, asked him, Jesus, teach us to pray. And if I may reveal one private secret of mine to you, you will be surprised. Maybe every day when I sit for my adoration, you know what is the prayer that I start with? Jesus, teach me to pray. Yes, every day I say this, and not once. I say it often. Even when I sometimes walk around and become conscious, then I pray, Jesus, teach me to pray. Also, I say, Jesus, teach me to love you, and Jesus, teach me to be loved by you. So, this question of prayer is very important, which will be coming up again and again, especially how we must pray. And yesterday, I did mention to you in my video about this book, The Way of the Pilgrim, where the pilgrim wanted to learn how to pray unceasingly. And that's why he went from churches to churches, priests to priests, and finally he landed with that monk somewhere in Siberia in the cold country and asked him also, how shall I pray unceasingly? And of course, he might have thought that, it requires a long training and practices in meditation, vipassana, etc., to be able to pray. But this monk told him a very simple thing: pray simply, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. This is what we said yesterday, and therefore it brought about a huge amount of conversion in the lives of people, And he himself found a very peculiar, beautiful kind of peace and joy when he started praying this. Therefore, when we come to the gospel today, the gospel is a bit long, and among the various things that happens, what Jesus is doing is he comes to the temple in Jerusalem, and then he finds that people are there buying and selling. And as the gospel says, they came to Jerusalem. On an entering the temple area, he began to drive out those selling and buying there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who were selling doves. He did not permit anyone to carry anything through the temple area. Then he taught them, saying, Is it not written, My house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples? But you have made it a den of thieves. Of course, we may be thinking that Jesus was talking to them about these money changers who were selling and buying, and therefore he drove them out. But maybe I have something else to share with you. You know, even when we go to churches or when we sit down to pray, we may not be buying and selling in the sense that we are buying and selling or exchanging money. But sometimes I feel, or often actually, our prayers are also a kind of a business deal with God. We come to God not so much seeking to relate to Him, to be friends with Him, to be on a journey with Him, but our main purpose of prayer, novenas, pilgrimages is to get something from God, to get something from Mother Mary. We ask, we make promises. We say, if you do this to me, I will be walking barefoot or bare feet to your place. Or if you do this, then I will offer so much of this thing to you. Or if you do this, there is always a condition. But Jesus is trying to say that this is not the way to prayer. Simply, prayer is a relationship with God. As I said, this theme will be recurring in my talks in future as well. But important thing for us is to know that Jesus expects us to pray, as also Saint Peter in his letter is saying, yeah, be serious and sober minded so that you will be able to pray. So, this disposition to pray is also very important. Let us then create that kind of disposition. And if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, you may please do it now. And I may inform you that on this channel, there is also a book that I am reading of my own called Tweeting to God. There are already 8 chapters on it, including the introduction, etc. You may like to hear it. Thank you.